Tonight on Elon Local News.
Park Place residents move back in after being forced to leave their homes. We talk to students and add up how much the issue is costing the university.
Bringing the classroom back home, how one professor is showing his family Elon from a different perspective.
And we'll take a unique look at how one train conductor is making a difference in Burlington.
All that and more.
Elon Local News starts right now.
Live from the Jane and Brian Williams studio at Elon University School of Communications, you're watching Elon Local News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Perry Eliadarani.
And I'm Emily Harrison. We begin tonight with an update on a story we've been following for a few weeks.
Elon University will be reimbursing the rent of all 55 students who had to move out of Park Place due to mold and mildew issues. University Communications did not provide ENN the total cost for relocated students, but based on reimbursement rates provided by the University Communications, the maximum amount for a 3-person apartment is more than $14,000. That reimburses rent, gas, and hotel room costs. But many residents will see less since they were able to return much earlier. Now, 3 weeks into the semester, Grace Morris talks to some students moving back in.
Of the 55 students who were relocated out of Park Place, some are now moving back into their apartments.
Just the thought of having to move in again after I spent 4 days doing that at the beginning of the school year, it's really overwhelming.
According to University Communications, 8 apartments have been cleaned and approved for use. And by September 30th, all of the affected apartments will be ready to live in again. But students like Aaron Bishop, who has asthma, are still worried the issues might not be over.
If the mold had caused my asthma attack, if it is making me worse, that my dad's worried at least that if it's in the hallways still, if it's in anything that could still, like even if I'm in for a short while, if I'm continuously walking through the hallways throughout a year, like that adds up.
Bishop hopes in the future problems like these will be addressed sooner.
There's always worries that it could happen again, and just kind of hoping that those small signs aren't brushed off next time.
Grace Morris, Elon Local News.
For continuing coverage on the situation in Park Place, be sure to check out our website at elonnewsnetwork.com.
And now we move over to La Rose Theater, where Shay McCoy is live outside the panel on the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, better known as DACA. The immigration policy is under scrutiny after a meeting last week between President Trump, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, where they reportedly came to an agreement on the program. Shay, what's happening over there?
Thanks, Emily. I'm here outside of La Rose Theater where there's a discussion going on about DACA. It's a panel discussion. They're filling all the gaps between the laws, economics, and even students here impacted by DACA. The event has a huge crowd. All the seats were filled in the La Rose Theater. It's even so much that students were sitting on the ground. It really goes to show how important of an issue DACA is here at Elon University to the students and even to the teachers who assign their students to be here at this discussion here. It is being moderated by Dr. Karu, who is a political science professor here at Elon University. She started the event by asking the panelists what is the most influential consequence from Elon or from DACA. All the panelists had great answers, and we're going to have full coverage later here today, so stay tuned.
Thanks, Shay. Now turning to another national story, President Trump is in New York preparing for a speech tomorrow at the United Nations to speak about many issues, including the North Korean nuclear program. Here on campus, NC State professor Bill Betcher will lead his own discussion on how to deal with threats from North Korea. The discussion will be in Bell Pavilion, room 208, from 6:30 p.m. to 7:45 p.m.
According to the American College Health Association, more than 1,000 students across the country commit suicide every year. I looked into a new approach Elon's counseling services is trying to battle the trend.
Over 800,000 people die each year by suicide.
Senior Evan Cedar is focused on his screen. Look away and he might miss something life-changing.
Preventing suicide, it's what people do.
Cedar is taking QPR training, an online program now free to Elon students. Like CPR, the training teaches the viewer how to provide life-saving help, but instead of learning how to help someone regain their breath, Cedar's learning how to keep his peers breathing.
I think the biggest thing about it was more of just like the wake-up call for myself.
According to the American Association of Suicidology, 6% of undergrads in four-year colleges report having suicidal thoughts, and nearly half say they didn't tell anyone. It's one of the reasons why the head of Elon's counseling services, Dr. Marie Shaw, vouched for Elon to bring free suicide prevention training to students.
So those most at risk are those that are not connected, and so we're really trying to train the entire community so everyone can be aware of these and help those people who might be suicidal and not connected with help.
Shaw says the training takes around an hour to complete, something Cedar says is worth it.
Oftentimes, unfortunately, people don't realize that our loved ones are having difficulties until it's too late. And taking that 1 hour out of your Sunday could literally change your perspective that you have for like the rest of your life.
But the time students like Cedar have to take QPR training could be limited, since counseling services has to pay to keep the service free. Shaw says it could go away at the end of this year without enough interest.
But we really hope that this could be an ongoing initiative that we can reach more and more people each year. Again, the hope is to really reach as much of campus as possible.
For now, though, all students need to do is a quick Google search and follow instructions on Elon's website to learn how they can spot a peer in need. For more information on QPR training, you can visit the Counseling Services website or visit their office in person on South Campus.
Some key changes to the University Honor Code are now in effect. Students under the age of 21 who are cited for alcohol consumption can now expect a less severe punishment from the university. Assistant Dean of Students Whitney Gregory says underage students who seek treatment for excessive alcohol consumption will no longer be charged with a code of conduct violation. Students violating drinking policies will also no longer be required to complete any community service, but will instead need to complete a longer education training online and in person. For a full breakdown of the new policy change, including how campus is reacting, check out our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
Beginning Wednesday at sundown, some Elon students will be celebrating Rosh Hashanah, or the start of the Jewish New Year. Though the holiday is usually best known for dipping apples in honey in hopes for a sweet new year, Rosh Hashanah is also a time of spiritual renewal. To celebrate, students are invited to come together for shared meals and prayer services until the end of the holiday on Friday at sundown. All services will be in Newman Lumen Pavilion. For more information, go to elon.edu/Hillel. Also being celebrated this week, the Islamic New Year, Hijra. The holiday begins on Thursday and lasts 29 days through the 19th of October. Hijra marks the time when the Prophet Muhammad moved from Mecca to Medina in 622 CE. There aren't any rituals associated with the holiday like there are for others, such as Eid al-Adha, which is next week. Eid is celebrated to commemorate the Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca in Saudi Arabia. Elon will celebrate Eid next Wednesday, September 27th at 6 p.m. with traditional foods and a Muslim festival known as the Feast of Sacrifice.
Coming up, how one professor is bringing his work home in a big way.
And I'm Caroline Hartshorn outside on Citroen Plaza. It's hot and sunny, and I have your Phoenix 5-day forecast after the break.
Television binge watchers are buzzing today after last night's Emmy Award in Los Angeles, but politics seemed to run the show more than television. Stephen Colbert hosted the event and made comments about the president's frustration that he never received an Emmy for his show, The Celebrity Apprentice. Sean Spicer made an appearance in the opening monologue with his White House podium, and Saturday Night Live stars Alec Baldwin and Kate McKinnon won Emmys for their impersonations of presidential election rivals Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton.
The biggest winner of the evening was The Handmaid's Tale. The dystopian series won 5 Emmys, including Best Drama Series, Best Lead Actress for Elizabeth Moss. And finally, Lead Actress of Veep, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, won Best Actress in a Comedy Series for the 6th year in a row. Now the weather has been awesome. We were talking last week about how we wanted the sun to come out, and this week it did.
It came out full force. I have fully been enjoying it.
It's been amazing, and I even saw you in the Mill Point pool.
I did. I finally made it. I have no longer just looked at the pool. I have now entered the pool. Milestone has been reached.
Well, we've got Caroline out in Citroen Plaza with the weather for us. Caroline?
Hey, Perry and Emily. Thanks, guys. I'm outside in Citroen Plaza. The sun is blaring. We are sweating out here, but it's okay because it was a beautiful day. Just a little bit hot, but honestly, in the highs in the 80s, lows not even hitting until later tonight. The only thing I can complain about was the fog this morning. If you got up pretty early like me, you were walking to class and you almost couldn't see across the street. I'm going to step out of the way. Just take a look at the beautiful downtown Elon and the train tracks. It's just been a gorgeous day, and we're so lucky it's actually going to stay. So take a look at the 5-day forecast. You'll see that the highs are staying in the 80s, the lows pretty much in the 60s, and it's going to be sun. It said a little partly cloudy, but we're going to think of it as glass half full, so we'll say partly sunny all week because it's beautiful, and your weekend is actually going to be gorgeous. No clouds, just all sun. So make sure you get outside, do some things around Burlington, or even do your homework outside. There is one more thing I want to bring up. There is a Hurricane Maria that's kind of in that same area as Hurricane Irma was this past week. But it's really nothing to be concerned about for our area at the moment. The only thing we are worried about are all of our friends in Puerto Rico because they did just get hit by Hurricane Irma, and it's kind of going to make landfall Wednesday. So we're just going to look out for that. Whether or not it's going to hit Elon area, kind of to be determined because, you know, hurricanes are pretty up in the air. But we'll keep you updated on that. But other than that, enjoy this beautiful week, Elon. It's going to be a really nice one. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Caroline. Lakeside Dining Hall is now featuring a feedback board. There, students can post their compliments or complaints directly to the wall. A dining hall employee will then write back addressing any problems a student may have had. Elon senior Rachel DiCacchio had a scary dining experience last year. She says the board is a great start for better communication between students and staff.
She said there was nothing, no meat in it. It was completely vegetarian, but it turns out I got sick later that night and I researched it, and there's actually like some shrimp paste or something that they use for pad thai. So that wasn't a great experience.
If you are unable to make it to Lakeside, another way to give feedback is by visiting www.yourdiningvoice.com. A spokesperson for Aramark, Elon's dining food provider, was unable to comment.
Many students can claim they have noisy hallmates, but what if your hallmate was also your professor? Michelle Klein asked one teacher's family what it's like living on campus.
Theodore and Braden Dahlhaus are the youngest residents living in Story Hall.
No complaints.
The 10-year-old twins live with their parents, Mark and Mary Ellen Dahlhaus, along with 2 cats and 1 dog.
If you're missing your pets at home, you can just come here and snuggle with our pets.
Dr. Dahlhaus and his family moved into the Colonnades neighborhood this past August as a faculty resident.
I like the atmosphere of a college campus. I like having access to the programs that are here, the intellectual enrichment that I and my family can enjoy.
Dr. Dahlhaus's favorite part about living on campus?
The commute.
His wife appreciates the opportunities the whole family has by living near students.
You have an instant neighborhood. You have all these opportunities available.
Theodore likes to take advantage of Elon's unique perks.
I get to go to the Makers Hub, and that's really neat, and I like 3D printing a lot. I sometimes go to the library, look at books.
His brother Braden enjoys playing with his puppets and listening in on his father's lectures.
It's really fun to see him because at home he's like, da-da-da-da-da, I'm so old. But in class he's like, da-da-da-da-da, learn this, learn this, learn that.
Braden and Theodore might only be in elementary school, but they're getting their college experience a little early.
This is a great environment for them to just kind of seek out the information they want, and having, you know, a lot of tools right in front of them to be able to accomplish that.
Michelle Klein, ENN.
According to Residence Life, a total of 8 professors and 17 other Elon faculty and staff members live on campus, but what I want to know is the stats of how many cute kids and dogs there are on this campus after that.
That dog was so cute. I just really miss my dog as well, so I mean, it must be me. Well, dogs.
You got an open offer. You can go and pet his dog.
Be warned, you have a new visitor right here, this person.
Well, the Phoenix had a lot of big wins this weekend. I'll have all you need to know in Elon Athletics after the break.
If you're looking for a club that meets your artistic needs, it might be the Art of Makeup Club. It's one of the newest clubs on campus. The founders are eager to share their love of lipstick, lashes, and liners. Some may think it's just about what's on the outside, but for club treasurer Caitlin Johnson, it's more of an art.
I think the makeup stands for something different for everyone. Our motto-ish for the makeup club is just trying to look your best and trying to feel your best with or without makeup.
If you're interested in learning more about the art of makeup, the first interest meeting is September 25th at 6:30 p.m. And you can read more about it in The Pendulum this week, which is released on Wednesday.
And if you're still looking for something to do this week, here's what's happening this week at Elon.
Tighten up your resume and head over to the Job and Internship Expo on September 19th in Alumni Gym. From 2 p.m. to 5:30 p.m., you can meet and network with potential employers. Download the Elon Expo app to see who's coming.
On Wednesday, join the Center for the Advancement of Teaching and Learning for their workshop called Is Teaching Students to Fail Actually Giving Them Agency? It will discuss how failure is defined and by whom. The presentation will be in Belk Pavilion, room 208 at 4:15 p.m. You must register online to attend.
The Bard Pulitzer Prize Lecture and Voices of Discovery series host Siddhartha Mukherjee on September 20th in McCrary Theater. His presentation will be on the changing landscape of cancer at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are $13 or free with an Elon ID.
Well, it was a big weekend for Elon Athletics, covering it all. We've got Miles Garrett live in the studio for all things Phoenix. Miles?
Thanks, Perry. Well, things just seem to be getting better and better for the fall sports teams at Elon. It was another big week for the Phoenix. Getting us started last Thursday was women's soccer, who defeated UNC Asheville 2-1 on Thursday. Junior forward Tori Baliatico was responsible for both goals scored, while the team kept up its unbeaten streak with goalie Hannah McAlay guarding the net. The volleyball team toppled Navy Friday night before sweeping UNCG in the tussle in the Triad Series in Alumni Gym. Junior Cam Terry and senior Sydney Busa made a huge impact on the court, both notching over 30 kills. Elon came back after being down 2 sets to beat Navy 3-2. Before losing to High Point Saturday night, the Phoenix had won 7 straight matches. The team begins conference play this Friday night at home against Towson and will face Delaware Saturday. Saturday wasn't just a big day for volleyball, though. It was also a big day on the gridiron. A top 20 team came to Rhodes Stadium for Elon's home opener, and needless to say, there was some excitement on McKinnon Field.
Senior defensive back Chris Blair is dancing, and he has a pretty good reason to. In his first home game of the year, the Elon football team upset the 19th-ranked Charleston Southern Buccaneers 19-17 at Rhodes Stadium Saturday afternoon. A new coach, new helmets, and a new quarterback all made their home debuts. This is the second time the Phoenix won on a last-second kick, only this time the team stopped a Buccaneer field goal as time expired to win the game.
We find a way to make it interesting there at the end, but to win games like this only strengthens our belief, our confidence, and our resolve that we can win close games at the end.
Junior tailback Malcolm Summers had a career-best 178 yards rushing and a touchdown that you'd have to see twice to believe. But he was more satisfied with the end result.
It's a big win. That's all I wanted was a win. That's all anybody ever wants.
2-1. That's Elon's record 3 games into the season. A winning record for the first time since 2012.
But Kurt Signetti didn't come here just to get above even. He says it's just the beginning.
This is a completely different deal now than it was before. We've by no means arrived, but I'm happy for the guys, and I'm confident they'll respond the right way.
Wow, what a great game. Miles, do you think they can keep this kind of thing up?
Well, it'll be hard. You know, they won 2 games for the first time since 2012. They're going to go for 3 games for the first time since 2011 against a top 10 ranked Richmond team. So it'll be hard, but not impossible. They did upset a pretty good team this past week.
Yeah, no kidding. So what's coming up for Elon Sports the rest of the week?
Well, again, Saturday they have this game against Richmond. It's going to be an away game, so students won't be able to see it. But men's soccer will have a huge game tomorrow night against NC State at Rudd Field. The men's soccer has not lost a game yet under Coach Mark Reeves, so big stuff there. And women's soccer will also have a game against James Madison on Sunday, so lots to look forward to this week.
Exciting stuff. Hopefully we'll see some more wins.
Yes, and you may have been too tall for this ride at the Burlington Carousel Festival. We talked to the man making sure this train runs on time. The 30th annual Burlington Carousel Festival filled the local park with food, families, and fun. Our Jackie Pascal tracked down one ride that stood out among the rest.
All right, come all the way to the front, guys. And welcome to the Burlington Carousel Festival. We hope you folks will enjoy your visit here today. All right, guys, all aboard.
While this may seem like the obvious choice for the Burlington Carousel Festival, some are choosing to go around in circles on a different ride.
Rides are free and we have such long lines. We normally do 2 laps.
John Burgess has been driving this train for almost 9 years.
There we go.
Ever since he moved to the neighborhood.
We woke up one Sunday morning, my wife asked me, she said, honey, what is that noise I hear? I said, it's the train whistle. Get used to it. I'm going to drive it one day.
This isn't just a ride around the block for Burgess.
When these kids get off the train and they'll run up to you and hug you, that makes everything worthwhile with driving the train.
He's a talker.
All right, guys, build your lungs up. We're going through the tunnel.
And a storyteller.
We have that cave over there, and he thinks that there are ghosts, but I don't believe him.
When we get through the tunnel, I'll tell you a little more about that story.
Despite their screams, these kids are having a good time.
To have some fun and relax before we go back to school.
Burgess says it's a memorable ride, but it's him that is truly unforgettable.
Be in Walmart or a grocery store, and these kids will come running up to you, and their parents said, who is this man? They said, he's the train man, and they don't forget riding the train.
Jackie Pascal.
And that's the end of the trip.
Elon Local News.
That's all the news we have for you today.
For all the news you need to know, be sure to check out our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
And be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Have a good night, Elon.